Hey everyone, Blue here. So I'm excited to announce a brand new series for my channel. That's right, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of the original Dishonored in order to kind of hype myself up for the sequel that's releasing just next month. A few quick words about this playthrough. I'm going to be completing a Clean Hands, Ghost, and mostly Flesh and Steel run. I've completed this type of run on the Xbox 360 but haven't yet completed it on the PC, so it'll be interesting to see how I've improved doing this a second time. Additionally, I'm going to be skipping what cutscenes I can. This game has been out since 2012. I assume most of the people watching are familiar with the plot and therefore don't need to rewatch some of the longer cutscenes. If that's an inconvenience, I apologize. Hopefully you're still able to get the gist of what's going on, and I'll try to provide commentary on that where I can. Speaking of commentary, just to let you know, this voiceover is not live. I tried to do these episodes while doing live commentary and it was just too distracting. It made me play way too slow and the episodes were dragging on. So I decided, okay, do over. I'm going to do a post playthrough commentary and hopefully that makes it more entertaining for you, the viewer. I think that's all I have to say, so without further ado, let's get started.
Corvo, if only there was someone else I trusted to send, so that you could remain near. But there is no one else, and the Spy Master was right to insist that I send you. The plague has taken so many, and we must find a cure. When you are near, my heart is at peace. Emily and I will count the days until you return. Hurry home, and bring good news.
So there aren't that many unskippable cutscenes in this game, but for those I encounter, I'll try not to talk over, just so that you can get an idea of the plot if you so desire.
Steady hand. That's it. Watch it. Cast off live. Casting off. We're away. Take us straight to Dunwall Tower. Lord Corvo has news for the Empress, and we've come a long way.
A long way to bring bad news. The sailors say there's a curse on us. Black magic.
Superstition. For all we know, there's a cure for the plague by now.
Maybe. We live in strange times. Sending the Empress's bodyguard away for a couple of months. That's unusual.
Well, this was important. We need help with the rat plague.
Since Kurnow doesn't talk for this short span, I'll take a moment to say the art design for this game, A++. It looks fantastic, it fits the universe really well, and overall, it just makes the game feel unique.
Ho there! We're going up.
Seal, ready.
Turning on the pipes, and she's rising.
Hold it last.
Steady pressure. And stop. Shut her down.
The Empress will be waiting for your news, Corvo.
So just as a heads up, you may notice some cuts as this video goes on. That's because anytime I go into my menu or if I get caught, I will edit that out of the video just to make things feel smoother.
Corvo, you're back! Will you tell me about your trip, please? Were there any whales? Wait! Let's play hide and seek first. I'll cover my eyes and you hide. You have time? Mother's busy talking to that nasty old spy master. Alright then, let's go see Mother.
Alright, so up ahead here, we're going to get a cutscene that introduces us to Sokolov, who's the royal physician, and Lord Campbell, who's the high overseer. They're important to the plot, but that particular cutscene doesn't have useful information in it.
They're sick people, not criminals.
We've gone beyond that question, Your Majesty.
They're my citizens, and we will save them from the plague if we can. All of them.
Very well.
We will not speak of this again.
Mother, Corvo is back.
Thank you, Emily. Leave us, please.
As you wish, Your Majesty. Corvo. 2 days early. Full of surprises, as usual.
It's a fair wind that brings you home to me. What news have you brought?
Follow me, Captain.
I hoped that one of the other cities had dealt with this before, knew of some cure. This news is very bad. We're at the breaking point. Cowards. They're going to blockade us. They'll wait to see if the plague turns the city into a graveyard.
Are you okay, Mother? You seem sad.
Yes, don't worry, darling. Mother is fine. Wait, where are the guards? Who sent them away?
Mother, look! What are they doing on the rooftop?
What? Emily, come here!
So fun fact, you can quote-unquote kill these assassins and it won't affect your clean hands run. Basically, because the game is in a prologue section, it's not keeping tally of any of the kills you make. At least it won't until you get to Coleridge. So you're free to kill indiscriminately.
Oh, my sweet daughter.
Who are those men, Mother?
I don't know, Emily. Corvo, thank you. If you hadn't been here... No more! Not again!
Mommy!
No! Get away from her! Corvo!
Mommy! Get away!
Corvo, it's all coming apart. Find Emily. Protect her. You're the only one. You'll know what to do. Won't you? Corvo.
Woe us all. Look at what he's done.
Yes, he's killed the Empress. What did you do with young Lady Emily, traitor?
Her own bodyguard. Ironic.
I'll see you beheaded for this, Corvo. Peg him.
And so it begins. Yeah, I actually really like this game despite my qualms at the beginning. Fridging is just such a lazy technique for writers to use. I wish they would show a little more creativity with how they began the game, but I digress. So here we're going to skip this cutscene. It's basically the Spy Master, now the Lord Regent, and High Overseer Campbell monologuing about their evil plans, which was to kill the Empress, have Emily be kidnapped, have the Spy Master be named the Lord Regent, then have them find Emily and appear to be the heroes of the little story. But we know better, don't we?
This meal comes from a friend.
So a friend appears to have left us a gift. We're gonna go investigate, and oh boy, what is it? Some bread and a note and a key to our cell. So we're gonna blow this chicken coop here. And there's a sword and some coins on the table. We're gonna skip the sword because we're not gonna be killing anyone, but pick up the coins for upgrades later.
You're such a chopper.
This section is pretty simple. You can pretty much waltz right past these two guards standing here, and as long as you stay behind that guy in the front, you shouldn't have any problems with this section. Okay, moving on, we're going to sneak right past this guy. We do end up missing a health potion, but that's fine. Hopefully, if all goes well, we won't actually be taking that much damage during this run. Although, I mean, if the health potion is right in front of us, we might as well take it. Once more, picking up some coins. A clean hands playthrough is pretty darn inexpensive just because we're not really going to be using any of our gear that frequently, so we won't need the upgrades. The only upgrades we're going to go for is the mask upgrade and the boot upgrade. But it's a lot easier to find coin when you only have one specific route to go, which you do for these first two sections, so might as well pick it up when you see it. So that being said, gonna grab the coin pouch and then make our way behind this guy. He is programmed to turn back around and walk inside. It's just a matter of waiting for that programming to kick in. Now, I don't know if you can just waltz right past him and walk over to the door. I assumed not, because that's precisely where he's looking, but maybe someone that's more familiar with the game can fill me in on that particular trivia bit. So just gotta wait a second here. There we go, and he turns around and goes back inside, and we are free to move on. There are some goodies in this room that I didn't look into. There's an audiograph on the table there. It's just a note from the Lord Regent saying, oh yeah, you know, we don't need a confession from Corvo, but it would be nice, because we sure don't want anyone to suspect us. That would be bad. Yes, it would, which is probably why you should have just not waited for a confession and offed us, because we're still alive and we're very pissed. So I picked up the teacup there because it can be useful for distracting the guards in this section. Of course, I go ahead and mess it up because I'm so good at this game. I end up throwing it too far and they don't hear it and investigate. Also, I dropped it, so clearly I still a little iffy on the controls, but you know, it'll work. So they said, oh, we heard something, but they didn't actually go investigate it. It's fine, it just means that we have to wait here a little bit for this guy to turn back around. And there he goes, and we're good. So in this next section up ahead, there's 2 areas that you can hide behind for cover. You can get to the second area without them seeing you. It will trigger their alertness meters, but they will never see you. I know because I've done this many a time. And then it's just a matter of waiting for this guy to walk over here and turn back around so that you can get up on the pipes. Of course, there are alternate ways to go through this room. You can go into that little building section there and open the door controls, but this is so much simpler, especially if you don't want to be seen. So we are taking the easier route. Now in this next section up here, this is the first time that you'll have to neutralize enemies in the game, because if these 2 are walking around in this room, they will see you escape no matter what you do. Also, they can get caught in the blast, and that will count as you killing them, which means your clean hands run is over before it even begins. So at this point in time, I'm just waiting for this guy to turn back around so I can sneak up and deal with him. But I start hearing some weird noises, and I'm looking around going, what are those noises? What's going on? What's the deal here? And I turn around and I see this. So yeah, the guards can glitch and fall through the floor and or get stuck in the walls, and if that happens, they can actually suffocate and die. So I panicked a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? This dude is going to ruin my clean hands run, but it was fine. I rescued him from the scary ceiling and everything worked out. So we're going to go ahead and take care of this guy, put him in the container with his friend, and then we're gonna move on out of here. There are multiple containers in this room that you can put these guys in. I just picked this one because it was closest to the first guy. So we will take a minute to see what goodies are in the room. Pretty much it's only a health potion. And then we are going to blow this popsicle stand. Just be sure that you hide in this container because you can get hurt in the explosion. Funny how that works. Okay, so since those 2 guards are unconscious and the blast door back there is still closed, no one should see you for this section. If that door is open, they will see you. So if you do go through that door, instead of using the pipes, make sure that you close it with the door control in the second room. So yeah, that is the very first section of this game. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I think the devs are just giving you a chance to get used to the controls and to get a better idea of how you want to play the game before you move on, which was nice of them. No one likes being dropped into the middle of the gameplay with 0 explanation, unless you're a Dark Souls fan, in which case you are a more patient person than me. Alright, so here's another note from our allies. They want to meet us, but more importantly, they want us to pick up the gear that they've made for us. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Obviously, we're not going to use the sword that they provide us, even though it's really cool, but we're not going to be killing anyone. We will, however, use the sleep darts that they give us. Those will be very useful as the game progresses. And in this sewer section here, there's no guards until probably the last quarter of the area, I would say. So feel free to sprint your way through. No one's going to see you. There are, unfortunately, some weaker corpses down here because, well, when the city guard is on a rampage looking for anyone with the plague, the sewers is the best bet for hiding from them. So this area right here does provide some useful information about hordes of rats. They will hurt you, and they will eat you. So you don't want to get near them. Luckily, you can climb up on this wheel and open it, Just make sure you're not standing on the wheel itself, otherwise it will shove you off and onto the ground and the rats will nibble on you.
Attention Dunwall citizens. The assassin Corvo, responsible for the murder
Some coin while we're at it and up the
and
chain.
the disappearance of Lady Emily, heir to the throne, has temporarily escaped state custody.
So this is the first area where we find traps, tripwires, pretty frequent throughout the game. It's just a matter of either noticing them or knowing where they are. Since I played this game more than once, I know where they are. I don't really need the incendiary bolts, I'm never going to use them, but might as well disarm them just in case I accidentally set them off. I don't like leaving things to chance, which is why a lot of times I just don't engage with any of the enemies, because it's easier to just go past people instead of risking someone finding the unconscious bodies, and then that messes up their patrol routes because they're trying to find you, and basically it just makes your life that much harder. So here is our gear. That rhymed. Yeah, really cool looking. Like I mentioned earlier with the art design, just like the weapons design, the character design, everything in this game, I really appreciate. They did a good job with it. So I am just gonna sheath my weapons because I don't need them. Fun fact, you do move faster with your weapons sheathed. It's not a huge difference, but it's enough that if you're not planning on killing anyone, you might as well just never have your weapons out. And also, there's a safe here with some money in it. The code never changes. It's always 451. But if you don't know what the code is, I just showed it to you. It's on the wall there. So, a little bit of money, a little health potion. Might as well take it. It's free for the taking. Gonna disarm that last launcher. And here we are getting to the section with guards.
Do you know who we're hunting here?
They're pretty easy to get around, especially because there's more pipes for you to climb on. It's just a matter of timing this particular section so these two guys don't see you.
Knock something over if you can.
Bastard.
As you can see though, it's not that hard. They pretty much keep their backs to you the whole time. As soon as this guy leaning over the rail here moves, we will move with him and work our way around him. But, you know, he's not paying attention, so we might as well take some of his coin. Alright, at this point, our escape is pretty much completed. No one will see us. They're completely distracted. And the AI in this game is not programmed to look up. So, as long as you are above their eye level, they will not see you. I did jump down here because there's some gold and another health potion. Figure on our way out, might as well grab some final few items. And that's it, we're out of there. So that marks the end of the kind of tutorial section of the game. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, only have to engage those two enemies. Now up ahead here, we're going to meet the first of our allies, and my personal favorite, Samuel.
Over here. I'm Samuel, and I work for some good people who want very much to meet you. Well, they said you'd come out here, but I can still hardly believe it. I'll take you to meet them. Just down the river from here.
And in a minute here, you'll see it will show us our mission status. There we go. No bodies found, low chaos, we didn't kill anyone, and we were never detected. So, good start to our playthrough.
This is the Hound Pits pub, closed for business. Half the district marked off as dead from the plague. We're right under the Lord Regent's nose, and he don't know a thing. Of course, if anyone finds out what we're up to, the Watch will break in with swords drawn. And now that you've escaped, the Lord Regent's going to be tearing the city apart. Take you up to meet Admiral Havelock and the rest of the Loyalists. The Admiral's a man to be reckoned with. If anyone can help you find that missing girl, Lady Emily, and clear your name, he can.
Alright, now that we've met my favorite member of the Loyalists, time to go meet my two least favorite members, which would be Havelock and Martin.
Starting at last, Admiral.
We can continue this
I
later,
do go
Lord.
ahead and skip this cutscene here. It's
Yes.
basically just
Piero's
Havelock
as
and
much an
Martin
artist
introducing
as a
themselves,
technician.
Havelock
He's going
being
to be crafting
the
more gear
military
for you.
strategist of the
Go talk
Loyalists,
to him
and Martin
when he gets some
representing
sleep.
the
We can
nobility.
talk more when you
So, per Havelock's suggestion, I'm gonna go meet Piero, and I'm also gonna skip these cutscenes. It's basically just him making your mask, which is super cool, and also the game giving you a tutorial on how whale oil works. We're not really gonna use it because it explodes and kills people, and that is the opposite of what we want, but nice to know how it functions. So here he's finishing off the mask, he's given it to you, and now the main purpose of Piero, he is giving you a chance to upgrade your gear. So like I mentioned, we're going to go for the mask upgrade, but we don't need any of the weapon upgrades just because we're not going to be using our bow enough to warrant it. We are going to pick up some extra sleep darts. It's nice to have just in case. And then, per Piero's suggestion, we are going to get some sleep.
I advise that you get some sleep. Your life will get even more difficult soon. You should rest while you can. Sleep well.
But wait a minute, what is going on? This doesn't look quite right. Ooh, spooky. So we are in the Void, which is home to this gentleman here, the Outsider. Now I'm going to skip these cutscenes, but it's basically just an introduction to Mr. Emo here. So he kind of controls all magic in the world, which explains why we can now teleport short distances. So this is where our mostly flesh and steel run comes in. For this run, we cannot upgrade any of our powers. We can only have tier 1 blink. In all honesty, it's really all you need to get the job done. It's just a lot easier to be able to have, say, tier 2 blink, or stop time, or what have you. But, you know, totally doable. So we're just going to kind of zip our way through. And as far as this section goes, we're not going to worry about mana because when we wake up, we're going to have a full mana bar anyway. So at this point, the Outsider gives you something called the Heart, which will let you see runes and bone charms in your proximity. Of course, the Outsider has a bad sense of humor. This heart once belonged to the late Empress. As you can see, it is the same voice actress.
All of time is meaningless here. Neither seconds, nor centuries. Someday this place will devour all the lights in the sky. The one who walks here is all things. Cradle songs of comfort and bones gnawed by teeth.
So yeah, more than a little disturbing, but the Outsider is a disturbing guy. Now this will be the only rune we're going to bother picking up, just because we're not upgrading things, so therefore we don't need runes. And of course, in a second here, they're going to tempt us with the powers menu, which we cannot access. All we have is tier 1 blink.
How you use what I have given
And
you
basically the
falls
Outsider
upon
gives
you.
you a spiel about, oh, what will you do with your powers? Low chaos, high chaos? It'll be interesting to see. Well, sir, we are going with the lowest of low chaos, so we're going to be pretty predictable. And, of course, the Outsider has left us some bone charms. Now, bone charms are pretty useful. They're not as useful for a clean hands run, just because a lot of bone charms have to do with combat. There are several that are pretty relevant, one of which I believe it allows you to choke out enemies faster, which is really useful because obviously the faster you knock a guy unconscious, the less likely you are to be seen. Of course, that's not what we start with, so we're just going to pick the ones that don't have to do with combat. Well, I did mention we're not going to be picking up any runes. If a bone charm is nearby us and it will only take a few seconds to grab, I will pick it up, just because it might be useful. But we're not going to go out of our way to find bone charms. We're just going to grab them as they appear. So that is really the end of this episode. So as far as an upload schedule goes, I do want to get all these episodes up on my channel before Dishonored 2 comes out, because if college permits it, and it may or may not, given that I'm supposed to be writing thesis, I will be uploading a playthrough or several playthroughs of Dishonored 2. So, I would say expect the next episode within the next day or two, and yeah, thanks so much for watching. Next time, we're going to go deal with that pesky High Overseer Campbell.